Our next speaker is Jessica Silver Sharp, a Skyline and Kenyatta College librarian and part-time faculty member. Jessica serves as a secretary and an outreach organizer for the Teachers Union, and she has worked tirelessly to make our district healthy and safety or safe. Sorry about that. Thank you.
That's good. That's good.
There was like a little mess up in my script, but yeah, thank you.
No worries. No worries. And my colleague Lori Slickton, a couple boxes below me is my fellow AFT person working on health and safety, and maybe your anthropology teacher too. So thank you so much for the introduction. You've just heard some really salient facts about how part-time faculty are financially disadvantaged by our college district. And as a part-timer myself, working as a librarian at Skyline for almost 10 years now, I wanted to give you all a little more context. Part of my job for the union includes reaching out to newly hired part-time teachers to explain their benefits. This means I'm often the one to break the news to them about how minimal their benefits really are. So here is what I tell them. While our district allows part-time teachers onto the same medical plan as full-timers, the district doesn't subsidize the costs of these plans the way they do for the full-timers, with the result that available health plans for part-timers are so exorbitantly expensive that only 14% of part-time teachers in California even sign up at all. Second, I tell them that to be able to claim some reimbursement from our district for their out-of-pocket health insurance costs, which can easily run to $1,000 a month or more, our district requires part-timers to work 40% or more of full-time. So if the college decides to cancel a class, a decision that's out of our control as teachers, and then that part-timer finds that their workload falls below 40%, that teacher can't claim any reimbursement money at all, essentially a loss of $3,000 per semester as a result of one canceled class. And that's not even mentioning the loss of pay from not teaching that class. Third, I explained to them that even though as a part-time instructor, they might be working what amounts to almost a full-time job, when you add up their jobs at multiple colleges, the 40% has to be within one college district, even though California's 115 community colleges fall under one state system. And last, I have to explain to them that there is no paid sick leave their first semester, and no holiday or vacation pay ever. So in reality, your part-time teachers are flying down the freeway between jobs in Bay Area traffic, paying as much as double or more what full-timers pay for their health insurance. And they're often forced to live far from the campuses where they teach because of the high cost of housing. And in addition, many of us are also not receiving equal pay for equal work. Because if you remember, our salaries are usually not on par with full-timers, even when we have comparable or better educational degrees and experience. So poor benefits like these translate, to real losses for you, our students. For example, with zero paid sick leave in the first semester of work, new part-time hires have to choose. When we get sick, should we go to work anyway and risk getting you sick too, so that we can pay the rent? Or do we stay home, have our pay docked by hundreds of dollars, and still spend that extra unpaid time to catch up and teach the lessons you missed? Not to mention, if our kids get sick, who will take care of them? These are not theoretical questions. This is exactly what happened to me when my son was 6 years old, my first semester at Skyline College. There are a couple other examples I'll share with you now of how this can play out. One of our teachers who broke her leg skiing in Tahoe and had only minimal health insurance had to drive herself all the way home to the Bay Area with a broken leg to get treatment because her minimal insurance wouldn't cover her in Tahoe. Another teacher who couldn't afford insurance for his first 7 years of teaching at Skyline College and finally began to earn enough to purchase minimal health plan, learned that he had several underlying health conditions that he should have been receiving treatment for years earlier. So for many of us, preventative care completely falls through the cracks. It should be really obvious to our administration that sick, stressed out teachers can't perform as well as healthy ones, and that we can't support our students as well as if we're struggling ourselves. Add a global pandemic to the mix and things can really fall apart. For example, this fall, there was no special COVID sick leave for any faculty teaching on site. Our district could have afforded to pay for this, but chose not to. The reason I'm giving you the nitty gritty here is really truly not to discourage you from becoming teachers, but to show you that in this economic system, part-time teachers really operate like uninsured gig workers. This is something we share in common with you, as so many students are driving for Uber or Amazon, delivering food and groceries, and doing other types of work with minimal or no benefits. 10 days ago, the California Federation of Teachers published a groundbreaking study confirming all of this. Statewide, 80% of teachers work part-time. In our district, as we learned, it's about 60%. So this means that hundreds and thousands of teachers, librarians, and counselors and nurses in California go without adequate insurance, job security, or sick pay every day. And while in the last 30 years, opportunities for careers in higher ed have expanded to finally include women and people of color, at the same time, without basic benefits, our working conditions are actually spiraling downward. Conversely, in the past 10 years, our district has created budgets that pay our administrator salaries and benefits that have increased by almost 100%. So you can see not only how lack of spending on class offerings and instructors by our district contributes to inequitable working conditions, but how your learning opportunities are also impacted. And while our district has the financial means to correct these budget inequities, it's by choice that they don't prioritize part-time teachers. This inequitable two-tier system adds to the district's wealth, but it doesn't benefit student learning, faculty morale, or overall healthy and just institutions. Teachers' working conditions are our students' learning conditions. We need to fight together for a fair budget that makes your education the top priority. And that starts with fair treatment of your part-time teachers, counselors, librarians, and nurses in SMCCD. Thanks everyone for your time today. And if you like a copy of my talk, including the sources that I drew from for facts and statistics for your extra credit, just send me a note and I'll put my address in the chat. Thanks.